Thanks for inviting me and thank you all for joining. This is going to be a fast-paced session and I'm going to show you a lot of things. Don't try to do anything right now. Everything is recorded. You can practice later. Like I said, if you have a question, don't wait for raising hand and me to unmute. Just put it on chat. I will try to handle all questions. Even if the time is up, I will answer questions in chat. So with that, let's get started. Like Nandip said, we have two tracks. This is more on platform level efficiency. And of course, there's a Copilot track. So in my track, I'm going to cover less of Copilot. When do we use Office? Everyone uses Office. We don't have to ask that question. Every day, everyone spends time, at least 50%, if not more, on one of these tools. But the problem is we don't know how exactly to use the platform. And this sounds funny because this has been there for 40 plus years and still people don't know how to use it properly. And even though that is true, if you look at it positively, it's a great opportunity to do whatever you do better. Someone had put a question, M365, what are the career options? So my answer to that is whatever is your career, if you use M365 properly, it will accelerate your career. It'll help you deliver more with less effort, and that will drive your growth. Any subject, any industry, any country. So idea is simple. These are the kind of work we do. This is called unstructured work. Structured work means line of business applications, HR, finance, marketing. You are a domain expert there and you do that work. But 50% of work is like this. Now, where do we do this work? Microsoft has given us many options. So I'm going to show under each category what are the options. Now, this is called Microsoft 365. And I do these kind of sessions worldwide almost at least twice a week, if not more. And you'll be surprised to know that not a single user knows all these tools. People have purchased it. Microsoft is getting the money. Nothing wrong with that. But whose job is it to know all the tools which we have purchased and then utilize them? That is the problem. IT job is to deploy. HR will do some trainings. But does everyone get covered? No, that's the problem. So spending money for something and not even knowing it is criminal waste of money, really. So that's what we are going to do today. I'll give you an overview of every tool here. We may not be able to go into depth, but for every tool, at least one or two best practices, something which you can start utilizing right after this session. It'll give you immediate benefit and sustained benefit. Now, from an efficiency point of view, how much efficiency can be improved? Problem is many people think that not much difference. How much difference will it make? 5% and 10%? No. There's real data from a customer. I was there in Delhi 2 months back. Can't tell you customer name, but this is the kind of benefit you can get if you use Office properly. I'm not saying write macros. I'm not saying use Copilot. All this was done without writing a single line of code. And all these are Excel use cases, in fact. How is it done? We will see. So the problem, underlying problem is this. I'll tell you problem, solution. That is going to be the pattern. The problem is not really technical because Office is being used by everyone, even non-technical people. So the problem is in the mind. This is a zoomed menu from PowerPoint. All of you have used it. All of you use it every day. But this is not how our mind looks at it. There's the optical view. This is the mental view. What do we do? What we know, we'll notice and use. What we don't know, we don't want to notice. That's called inefficiency. Why are there so many buttons? Do you know how many there are? If you count all of them across all products, 14,000 plus. And many of you know every week new are added. And you can see the roadmap showing you at least 5,000 more. So why is Microsoft adding these buttons? They know people are not using anywhere near this. In fact, I ask this every session. This is the answer typically. So that's gone. What is the point? Now we are saying we are using 150. No, you are misusing 150 because there are so many ways to get your job done. You have a small vocabulary. Yes, the job is getting done, but in some roundabout workaround type of manner. So what is the idea? We have to find what we are doing. We have to check whether it is efficient or not. And I'll tell you it's not, because if you have not put effort, how will you get quality and efficiency? So how do you check is important. So I'm going to show you how to check what you're doing is efficient. That is the first best practice. Nobody else is going to help you. Nobody is going to arrange training for you. I'm gone after 1 hour, but I'll give you methodology which you can use lifelong. So idea is like this. If you have file, if you are working, you have to start noticing what you are doing. That's all there is to it. And think. So this is data, this is formula. Let me add one more formula just for demo purpose. Now, generally when we are talking about Excel, we have data, then formulas, charts, and pivot tables. Now what happens? I add data, that's my job. But after I finish adding data, my job is not over. Why? Because I'm expected to go and find all the formulas, and most people don't know trace dependence. They'll do it manually and they'll forget some formulas, and it's a chaotic thing. And then every formula I have to manually go and do something like this, C6 to C7, 40 times, 50 times. That's a total waste of your life. But we do it because there is no other way. So that's the idea. Notice inefficiency. Anything which is repetitive, anything where you feel you are helping the software. Excel should be helping you. You should not be helping Excel calculate formulas. That's not your job. And hands are being used. What is brain doing? If you use hands, you get arthritis. If you use brain, you grow. The difference, the choice is yours. So this I will not do. Put your foot down and find the right feature in that software. So step one, detect inefficiency. Detect inefficiency means what? Detect inefficiency means these three processes. Anything repetitive, whenever you feel I am helping the software, and hands brain imbalance. Now, detected inefficiency, yes. How do you find the right solution? That's also important. Normally, we Google it or chat GPT it nowadays, help and ask anyone. But generally, that is a roundabout way. Even this process is inefficient. Why? Because if you have a need in the context of that product, the solution will be in that product. Why are you going outside? Look inside. So there is a method to the madness. So what do? Let me give you an example. Then you will know how to learn any software, not just Office. So I want to do something about this pivot table. So I'm going to drag drop some random things here. And very often we want to clear the pivot table. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items here. Most people are going to drag out one by one. Even the thought is inefficient. It's repetitive. You're not helping Excel. So there is a need. The need is about the entire pivot table. So that solution must be in pivot table menu somewhere. Is it an analysis problem or a design problem? That's all you have to think. Go there, clear button, clear all, one click, it is gone. So if it's a bigger problem, some menu on the top, logically relevant menu on the top will give you the solution. Now, other thing is, if I want something which is localized, here, for example, I have amount and I put amount multiple times. Why? Because here I want percentage. So again, don't go up now because that's a localized problem, local problem. It's not the full table. So right click gives you the solution. Of course, you have to take the trouble of reading all items. Don't click, at least read. Second time you read, it's easier. So shortlist logically show values as percentage of column. Now another one, I want month on month growth or decline. Most people will do that by putting a formula outside. That is a disaster. Percent difference from is the solution, but not food because I don't want to compare anything to particular row. I want the previous one to be done. Now for this type of thing, ideally, we should have month. So you get month on month growth. So what do? Right click, show values as percent difference from. But here you don't use this, you use month and there is a previous option there. So this is how you get month on month growth. Bottom line, local problem, right click, bigger problem, some menu on the top. But there is a third one. Many people want the default pivot table settings to be changed, which you have to change manually. Don't do that. That's changing the behavior of the software. Microsoft must have thought of it. So file options changes behavior. For those who use pivot table, this is the place to go and change any pivot table option or setting. globally for future pivot tables. So that's the idea. What is the idea? If you want to learn, how do you learn? Local problem, right click, global problem, menu on top, and change behavior tools options. Great. Now with that, let's go ahead and see some best practices across different applications. This is a very important slide to look at because this gives you an overview of what is the platform. And more importantly, these are the generic needs. And under each category, we have multiple options. Well, that is obvious. What is not obvious is, are you aware of the option? Are you checking in this situation, what would I do versus what are the options? Is there a better option? That's how you incorporate these unknown apps into your life. So Word, of course, everyone knows. So I'm not going to go into Word specifically. But for Word, only one thing I'll tell you. Even today, after 35 years, people do not let Word help them. They help Word. So idea is when you type content, that is your job. After typing content, formatting is not your job. Formatting is Excel, Word's job, PowerPoint's job. So content you should be doing. So let's say I want to make this look like a title. You go to styles and choose. There is a predefined style. Style means collection of formatting. And like that, while typing, you decide what is content, which is title, which is subtitle, heading 1, heading 2 up to 9. After you do that, there are lots of benefits you get, like automatic TOC, just drag drop to rearrange, automatic heading numbering, and many, many more. So bottom line, the important, most fundamental important part in Excel, in Word is to use styles. I will give you a PDF file based on what I'm talking. I will create a playlist of videos for you, put it in a PDF and then send it to your team, or you can publish it somewhere. So don't worry about how to use styles. I will give you the video link later. What I'm here right now trying to do is to give you concepts, clarity and awareness. Hands-on skills will come later. All right, so that's all I'm going to talk about in Word. Now, when it comes to Excel, of course, a lot has been talked already, and we spend a lot of time on Excel. But couple of things. If you're doing data related activities, what are you primarily trying to do? What are you primarily trying to do with data? If you see steps, there are a lot of steps. But broadly speaking, generically speaking, what are you trying to do with data? Only few things at a broad level. You're getting data from somewhere, cleaning it up, analysis. Okay. What is most important in life? Analysis. Where do we spend maximum time? Cleanup. That's called inefficiency. What is important? There we should apply our time, not what is not important. But we have to do cleanup, absolutely. How do we do cleanup? Most people do manual or formulas or macros or utilities. Probably here the audience is more technical. So I hope all of you are already using Power Query. If not, please start using Power Query. All, almost everyone will have it unless you have a very ancient version of Excel. And the important part here is, okay, you are using Power Query, which is great. If not, immediately start using it. But even if you are using Power Query, there is a problem. Problem is I get data, I clean it up using Power Query or some other thing. Now, when I say I have cleaned the data, how do you know it is clean? Who told you what is the rule or definition of clean data? Nothing. So that's the important lacuna which is missing, especially for end users. People who know databases will know this, but this is a simple layperson level checklist of looking at the data and saying, oh, this is my data. In this column, 1 is okay, 2 is not okay, 6 is missing, 9 is not okay. So now you know exactly what are the problems and then what to do for each problem. So we don't have time to go into demos of all this, but these are the checklist kind of thing. And when you find a problem, these are the solutions. Depends on the situation. It can be a combination also, but at a broad level, these are the solutions. Some things will have to be done manually, but most of the things can be done using Power Query. So the best practices, start using Power Query, stop using all your old methods of formulas, macros, however proud you are of those macros. Because Power Query is designed to be better, faster, and automated. And conceptually, what is the difference? The difference is Power Query, where you have to do the effort once, it remembers it, and then next time it is refreshed as long as the data source does not change. And another Excel related thing which I have seen even today people not using properly, that is tables. Many people have some random misconceptions about tables, so please use tables. These are the benefits of tables. I will give you the video. But the rule is if you have raw data, it has to be in a table. Why? Because of so many benefits. Actually, there are 18. I have put only 12. So bottom line, always use tables. So let's move on. I am not seeing any questions on chat. Whenever something comes to your mind, don't worry. Just put it there. I will handle all of them. Let's move on. Now, PowerPoint, the only thing you should be using now is Designer, which I'm sure many people are. And of course, if you have Copilot, Copilot as well. Copilot, I'm not going to discuss, but one thing I will show you in Copilot, because in many people are not very happy with the way Excel Copilot is evolving. Yes, it is in beta and it has been slow progress. And whatever it is currently doing is not really going to impress a power user. Now, why is Microsoft taking time? Let's not go into the technical details. There is a genuine reason for that. But what you can do with Excel data inside Excel is a bit limited right now. But that does not mean Copilot cannot help you. So here is an example of that. I want to analyze a balance sheet which is in Excel, but if I give this balance sheet to Excel, it will not accept it because it's not properly a tabular format. So I copy this, paste it in Word, and then ask Word to do this. And that will work. So this, when I gave this prompt, this is what it came out with. It has calculated all the ratios. I did not ask it to do that. In my data, there were no ratios. It calculated them on the fly, created a table, and it is explaining the interpretation and conclusion. So Excel data need not be analyzed in Excel Copilot. That's the thought process you have to remember. Let's move on. Coming back, Sway is just to create responsive web pages without programming, so we'll not go into it. But remember the use cases. How do I know the use cases? Well, use cases are easily understood by going to this. Where? Yeah, I know the screen is not there. Hold on. So when you want to look at anything's use cases, generally go to File, New, and look at the template names. That's how you know use cases. So just go to New Sway, look at the gallery available. These are the use cases. Simple, easy, effective. It's a universal container. It gets embed codes, non-Microsoft also. Around 30 of them it can accept. Forms is easy. But one new thing has recently happened in Forms. Most of us, if are using Microsoft Forms, we are going to be and the survey is going on for a long time, we are going to be downloading that Excel file every now and then. And that's a pain. Yes, if you want to take automated action, you can use Power Automate. But if I want to download the data and work on it myself or say share it with someone, I have to keep downloading it. And that is a genuine problem. So what do we have to do? Well, nowadays, when you have data, this option was the only option earlier, download a copy. But recently means last week, now it has ability to create a live Excel version. So click on this. Unless you really want a downloadable snapshot, this is a better option. It'll create a new Excel file on OneDrive and that will be kept updated. And what's the benefit of that? You use that as a source in Excel or Power BI, and whatever reports you create will be auto refreshed. Auto refreshed in the sense, in that report level, you can say refresh on open in connection properties. So this has sort of automated one component of forms analytics. There's another brilliant thing called Visio. Many people I still see either using some third party products or using these ancient shapes to draw flowcharts, infographics. Of course, we have Canva, Draw.io, Mermaid, but still these shapes are used. But most people don't know that a light version of Visio is available to every M365 user. Every M365 user. So where is it? In fact, the commonest question is, in my case, when I show this, people say asking, where is this? They have never been shown where it is. So I'm going to show it. Go to office.com, log in using whatever ID, and this 9 dots is where you have all apps. It may or may not show you all the apps. So you go to more apps. Still, it will not show you all the apps. You go to all apps, and now you'll get an alphabetical list. It's a very good idea after this session to go there and at least eyeball them. That way, you know, oh, this does this one line, at least that much you can read, and then shortlist the ones you want and then utilize them. So the whole skill lies here in understanding what is available. So these are Visio templates. These are part of Office 365. You do not have to purchase Visio for using this. It's purely browser based. Co-authoring will happen and it's basically a typical Office 365 file. So use this to create better visuals, infographics, and so on. That's all. There is another way of doing it. You can put data in Excel, like rows and columns in a particular format, and then you can create flowcharts and org charts. I'll send you the video link for that. Whiteboard we'll cover a little later. Probably in this audience, OneDrive, I don't have to explain why to use OneDrive. But in most corporate places where I go, OneDrive is there, of course, as a part of the platform. But many users are still not convinced or nobody has told them the benefits. So just to make sure all of us are on the same page, I'm not going to show you a demo of OneDrive. That is obvious. But I'm going to show you the benefits of using OneDrive, just one slide. And if you don't understand anything there, put a question in chat, then I'll address it. Otherwise, I'll move on. So what are the benefits of OneDrive? Okay. Any questions, please put it on chat, then I'll address it. Otherwise, we will move on. So one of the things of OneDrive, which some of you may not know, is I'm on OneDrive. I have a file. I want to share it with someone. And then I click on the share button. It's a standard routine. We know this dialogue. But OneDrive, if you do it, you get this button. Very, very useful button. Currently, at least, I think in the word sharing dialog, this button is not yet come. It will come soon, of course. But as of now, this feature is available only if you share from OneDrive browser. And what is the benefit of this? This is a big file. I am sending a link to someone. It's whether it is a link or attachment, the person is not seeing the content directly. So it's a good idea to put a summary so that the person is motivated, compelled, or excited enough, interested enough to open the file. So this summary comes in a very specific way because it's a part of email text, body text. It is a very short one paragraph kind of summary. So never mind why it's not doing it. But yes, try this out. It's a good idea to increase consumption of your emails. It works, don't worry. So any questions? Let me see. Yeah, no questions. No problem. We will move on and then come. Another thing is a very common mistake is we use OneDrive to store data, but still send files as attachment. That is, there is no compulsion, there is no legal requirement, but logic. Yes, if you have a question on OneDrive, Nitish, put it there. Just type it. I'll address it. So very important is if you have OneDrive and files are on OneDrive, as far as possible, don't send attachments because these are the benefits links will have, which attachments don't have. It is in your interest to not send attachments. It's in the other party's interest also not to send attachments. All these benefits are not available for attachments. When you send attachment, you lose control. When you share a link, you're always in control. That's why, unless it is mandatory, don't send attachments. And this doesn't work alone. Anything in collaboration does not work alone. That's the problem. Multiple people are involved. So if it is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, creating something, you can learn on your own and be better at it. But anything collaborative, you have to involve other people. They also need to know which tool you are using, why you are using, what are the benefits. So some amount of teaching at your level to your team is involved. And that team may not be colleagues, it can be subordinates and especially bosses. All right, so OneDrive done. Done means that's all I'm going to cover. SharePoint, I won't go into. There are a lot of sessions, probably will cover that. Lists is another one. What we are really doing here is we are trying to learn what each tool does and then decide which tool to use when. And under that category, there is another skill to learn which tool not to use when. This is a classic example. Many people still do this as we speak, not just in India, worldwide. Every country, every industry. I want some data, so I create a file, add columns, send the file, wait for replies, copy paste, clean up, and then I'll do analysis. There's color coding. Red means hands, analysis means brain. Obviously, this is inefficient, but because nobody told us that Excel was never designed for data entry and it does work, we still use it. And earlier we didn't have an option. Now, when I say earlier, the correct option is list. And list has been there for many years, but many people still don't know. In fact, nobody. Technical people know, of course, all of us work on SharePoint, but then from end user point of view, people who are struggling in Excel like this, nobody has gone and told them use lists. So that is what I'm saying. Use lists, create the same columns there. In fact, data types are much richer here, better quality data entry, better validations. Many of them are impossible in Excel. And then give edit permission. And very important, you have to go and restrict visibility so that people can see their own data. That's it. And now life is good. And of course, all of you can, the integration with Power Platform. So if you still want it in Excel, sure. After the data is accumulated, we have not done a single attachment send, no copy paste, still I got the data. Now it is Excel job to analyze. Do that. And many people use this, don't know that there's connection property and you can refresh it as well. And then Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI integration comes out of the box. So it's more than what you asked for. Better quality data entry with security and more versatility. That's why stop using Excel for tabular multi-user data entry. Start using lists. A simple standard operating procedure for all users. Stream is now behind the scenes because it is used wherever you store a video. It's used implicitly. But there are certain things you should know that transcript, if it is there, it will give you searchability. And meeting recap goes one more step further. So probably I'm not going to cover meeting recap later, but let me show you one part of meeting recap, which is really, really powerful. Meeting recap means you need meeting recap means you need Copilot or Teams Premium. So after this is the recap screen. This is the formally created minutes of meeting, not transcript. This happens automatically. This also it creates. This is a chart of who spoke when. So what is the practical use of this? Let's say a lot of people are discussing. You want to see was someone hogging the limelight, or a lot of people were discussing. You are interested in what one person has to say, and let's say is the boss, and what was the final conclusion. So assume this is the boss. We'll click on the last step. That is boss's summary. So even if it is a chart, it can be used intelligently. But other than that, it also analyzes the actual topics discussed. This is not based on agenda. This is actual topics, and gives you a stacked bar chart telling you how much time was spent in each column. And as though that is not enough, when you click on a particular topic, it'll play video from that point of view, that point of time. It also automatically detects chapters based on various inputs. The bottom line, all this is happening inside Stream. That also has a corollary. That means on anything you do using videos, Many people put them in LMS. LMS does not have these features as far as videos go. So if you want to utilize the video better and give people all these facilities, apart from meeting notes, you should also put any other video in stream. Put a structure, teach this to people, and life is good. Now we come to the collaboration part. Collaboration is basically working with each other. And because we have not decided exactly how to do it, people do whatever they feel like. Even in the most structured organization, even in the most process driven industries, how to collaborate is completely left to individuals. There is no standard, there is no guidance, there is no best practice. So that's what we are going to do now. So let's start with my task. My task means I got a JD. I break down the JD into smaller pieces. That becomes my task list. Plus, people keep giving me some work. So, whatever. If I decide that I'm going to do this on this day, then I have to put it somewhere. Now, where is that somewhere is the problem. Most people do whatever they feel like, and then this is the state. I'll handle all questions at the end. Let me finish and then I'll handle. Sure. So this is not good. We need to, if we need to work together, then the method of keeping the task list at least has to be standardized. Otherwise, how are you going to work? Someone says in Notepad, someone says in Excel. It's not going to work. Even at individual level, it is not going to work. So the best place for this is what? This has been a floating topic nowadays because of old Outlook, new Outlook, and so on. So if you have old Outlook, go to browser and use To Do. Absolutely the same app you should install on mobile. So this is where you put your tasks. In our older Outlook, we have a task folder, proper task folder, but that also synchronizes here. So the common factor is To Do. And to complicate matters further, now To Do is merging with Planner. So if you just want to go with one, go with Planner. But I'm not saying that right now because the new Planner is still embedded inside Teams. Never mind. My task, go to To Do and add here. So these are the tasks which I decide I am going to execute. Nobody else needs to know. My work goes here. Just simply remember that. Now, while you are reading a mail, you may want to say, oh, this is actually not a mail. I need to create a task. Then what do? Most people will flag it. Don't do that. Task is a task, flag is a flag. They are two different things. Don't mix the concept. So if I have a meeting or if I have some mail and I want to convert it to a task, right click there. This is browser only right now. And advanced actions create tasks. Not very intuitive, I know, but this is worth doing. Why? Because when I say create task, does just create a task. The subject is there. It keeps the link to that email anyway. So now the original mail and the task are linked. So gives you understanding of what to do. So my tasks go into to do task folder. That's all starting point. Now, very often we have multiple people to give tasks to delegate work. How do you delegate work? That depends on context. If it is urgent, we put people in a chat, or even a more urgent, we put them in a meeting. And not urgent, we send a mail. Understood. But the idea is mail is absolutely the biggest enemy of efficiency. The most important part you have to learn about collaboration. Collaboration implicitly means Outlook in many people's minds, but it's nothing to do with Outlook per se. Any email system, same problem. The enemy of efficiency. Why? Because this has been established for so many years, probably since childhood in our lives. Any collaboration, we think that is the go-to place. That is not the go-to place. That may have been the case 10 years back. But now we have to consciously audit every desire to go to email. So you have to say, okay, why am I going to email? Wait, is there a better way? Then I'll use that. And that has never been done. So here itself, without even clicking on any button, I can tell you that. So the purpose of learning how to use Outlook is to learn how to use it less. That is the best practice. For example, I am a boss. I have 10 people reporting to me. I need to do one-on-one half an hour review every whatever 6 months. Now, whatever those 10 meetings are, Either me or my assistant has to manage means negotiate, when are you free, like that. Waste of time. If this is a very important activity, people will subscribe to Calendly or something like that without realizing that bookings is already there. This is a part of this. You say I want 30-minute slots, then not have entire empty calendar. Only sometime on Monday, sometime on Friday, and then it'll create a link, send the link to those 20 subordinates. Everyone clicks on it, blocks the time. Now meeting comes, both times are blocked, and then that slot is gone. So next person clicking on the link will not see it. This is calendar management for a specific purpose. This is out of the box. Now, Teams, of course, we will see. Approvals is another very common activity which happens using email, and then nobody has a clue. So approvals is a built-in thing. You create an approval. This is a simple form. You can create complex forms also. But the approval has two sides. I am asking for approval. Someone is going to give me approval. Both parties don't know what I have asked and what I have submitted and what I have approved. It's a disaster. So this gives you that visibility. So when I go to my approvals, how many have I received and what have I done to them? How many I have sent for approval to my boss and what has happened to them? At a glance, without any search, any scrolling, this is better. So by now you must be understanding what is efficiency. So this gives you ability to minimize the load on inbox and maximize clarity. So you can of course create multiple templates. Behind the scenes, it uses Microsoft Forms. So I strongly urge all of you to use this. And if it is under your control, replace the regular random email or chat based approvals with this. And there is a related product. Very often, every company, many people periodically, daily, weekly, monthly, are spending enormous time saying, I'm sending update to boss or department or regulator or something like that. Sending updates also is an app. Most people think update means email. No, there is a built-in app which gives you beautiful, ready-to-use templates which are customizable, and you decide what update you want, design the form. From whom do you want, add the people. How frequently do you want, add the frequency. And once all this is done, you relax. You will know who has sent it. If people have not sent it, they will get reminders, right? So everything which you always wanted in updates is already there. Problem is nobody knows it is there. So start using it, instant, immediate impact. So another thing is of course Teams. So right now we have talked about my tasks. Now we have to talk about delegating tasks because tasks can be given to other people. So how do you do that? Three methods of giving tasks. One is loop. I hope all of you know loop. So if you go to email, create a new mail, go to the body text. We have loop components. These are basically parts of a document. So instead of sending body text to 20 people or attaching a document, I'm sending part of a document, either just a bulleted list, just paragraph, just table like that. And then there are special tables. Probably the most impactful of these is task list. So this is one way of delegating work. Create a task list, put at the rate mention of person and send it. Now, when the person receives the mail, they don't have to reply. In the mail itself, in inbox, they can mark it as complete. Now, how will this person know? Suppose this person doesn't see the mail also. How will that person know something is assigned? We will see that also a little later. So loop components are available for component level co-authoring. So now if I copy this loop component and put it in chat, assuming people have permissions, it will work. So location independent component level co-authoring is loop. Now other way to delegate work is using to do. So you create a list, add people to it, shared list, and then in that list you can create a task. And when you add the task, probably nothing happens, but click on it again, and then you can say assign to and done. So there's another way of delegation. Third way of delegation is planner. We have planner. So if you go to Teams, we have Teams, and in Teams we have channels. We need a shared task list. When do you create Teams Teams channels for projects. So here we have Planner. Now, Planner is undergoing a huge transformation right now, and the latest Planner currently you will get only in Teams. The Planner which you get from the outside thing is not the right one. So you can go to Planner here, search for Planner, that colorful purple icon, and this is the latest incarnation of Planner. So here, of course, you will see my tasks. They are now called private tasks. And then whether it is to do or planner, both of them are overlapping functionality actually. There is a place called assign to me. So someone sent me a mail with a loop task list and one task is for me. I will see it here because I may get 20 mails. Each has a task list and one task here, two tasks there. I don't want to open 20 mails. I don't have to open 20 mails. All those tasks will be coming here and it will tell you where it came from, the name of the source. So that's how you delegate. Now, when you're sending from a collaboration point of view, there's a way of thinking. And then based on the need, you use the right approach or the right tool. So let me show you the diagram and then we will discuss that. This is teamwork on one slide. So what we have seen so far is if it is not urgent, send a mail, but as far as possible, avoid mails. If you have to send a mail, send it with loop components. That even makes it better because reply is no longer there. No reply means no mail trail, less mails. Less effort and more impact is what we are trying to do. Less input, better output. That's efficiency. If there are tasks, we use loop or planner. We have seen that already. I'm not mentioning to do because that same functionality is now going to be taken over by planner. Now urgent meetings and chat, two options. So let's look at that. Many people still don't know that loop components are available in chat. So please start using them. And then it gives you lots of benefits. Another common mistake I've done is probably IT admin mistake. Default sharing is view only. So if people attach a file, which is a local file, ideally there shouldn't be local files in today's world, but there are. So if I attach a local file, it will get uploaded. But by default, the permission is view. Why am I putting the file here? Because I want people to edit that file. If it is read only, those people are going to make 4 copies. I don't want that to happen. So change the default and tell users to change this. There's a special option here. Make sure it is edit. And then you are going to get co-authoring benefits. So use this and loop in chat. That's all I will say right now. The next most important part of collaboration, of course, is meetings. And if I ask you, anybody, I mean, where do meetings happen? Where do meetings happen? What happens? People will give me the same answer worldwide, doesn't matter. People say meetings happen in calendar. That is true because you block time. And then the actual meeting happens in person, of course, or hybrid, where Teams, Zoom, whatever, Google Meet, some software to manage the meeting. So calendar plus some meeting software. That is where we manage meetings? No, that is not the correct answer. Yes, this is part of the answer, but not the full answer. When you talk about a meeting, yeah, is there a question? Okay. So what happens here is this is okay, but when it comes to managing the meeting, there are many things which are required. It's a complex meeting, 20 people are invited, many items in agenda. Organizer is going to send it, but someone will want to change the agenda. They can't change it. So reply to all. Then I am the presenter. I want to send some PPT pre-read. Again, reply to all. So all these generate lots of reply to all. So saying that meeting is happening in calendar is absolutely false. In fact, these 20 mails which I'll get about the meeting have no link also with the original meeting. It's very sad because I'm going manually reply all. So this is called inefficiency. So what is the solution? Microsoft has already given the solution. People have just not noticed it. Solution is simple. All of this happens inside Teams. So meetings without emails is the solution. How do you do that? I'll just show you a few key areas and then send you a video. So most people arrange meetings in Outlook calendar and add Teams meeting there. Fine, do that. But immediately after that, come here. The meeting will have synced to Teams calendar also. Why am I coming here? Because this feature, the loop component which gets added, is not yet available in Outlook. So here I'm going to put only one thing, agenda, because meeting has not yet started. Now, as you can see, this is the loop component co-authored. That means people whom I have invited can edit it. So no more email reply all, at least for agenda. And then we join the meeting. What happens? So let me put some agenda. Now, when you join the meeting, what happens? Well, meeting happens, people join. Many people join without reading the agenda. That's the other end of the spectrum. So what am I going to do? Nothing. You don't have to do anything. The agenda will be shown upfront. Whether you have read it or not doesn't matter. If I joined late, of course, I'll be aware of what has been finished. If I want to add more items there, of course, I can add new items and then we can change it and all that. Now there is audit trail also, by the way. Many people are worried loop is so much free for all that who changed what track changes. So it's all there. When you click on anything which is written in loop, you will see person's icon. If two people were involved, you'll see two icons. And then when you hover on each one of them, it'll actually delineate this one wrote, that one wrote, like that. I don't have time to show the demo. I'll send you the video. Bottom line, agenda is now collaboratively managed. More importantly, meeting notes are seen by people in the meeting. It may sound like a no-brainer, but nobody in the world does that for last 30 years. Meeting notes are taken, but that is taken by one person. That person is going to send the minutes afterwards. And if that person has misinterpreted something, nobody is going to notice it till it is too late. That's absolutely inefficient. Now, what are we doing? At least the key points you're noting down here. If you're Copilot, it's going to take that and transcript and make a formal minutes. Otherwise, you still have to make minutes manually. That's okay. The benefit is people who are in the meeting are able to see the notes. So if there is a dispute, difference of opinion, misinterpretation, you can actually correct it while it is easily possible. So same meeting, same time spent, same people, but more effective work. So that's the importance of meetings. And then, of course, these are delegation. One of the commonest place from where work is delegated is meetings. So add the meeting notes or as well as tasks here. So give a task to someone, assign it to them. Of course, they are going to see it in individual person's to-do app assigned to me. So we are literally streamlining visibility of tasks. I'm going to get my task list of assigned tasks from all other sources, means email task list, planner task list, meetings, and chat. I don't have to go to four places, not double click on 20 meetings. I'm going to get my work laid out for me in one place. And that itself is revolution. If you have better visibility, obviously you will execute it better. So now all this one topic I had left. So whiteboard is also equally important. Many people use whiteboard in an in-person meeting. They don't have to be told to use whiteboard. But in hybrid meetings or online, we forget to do it, or there is some misconception that I need stylus touchscreen. None of that is required. Please go to whiteboard. It's a brilliant tool waiting to be exploited. Now, if you think you know all the use cases of whiteboarding, you're wrong. I also thought that. But when I went here, created a whiteboard, it gives you these things. What are these things? These are templates. These are broad categories. And I strongly suggest after this session afternoon, go to this, click on, at least read the names. Some names you will know, ignore them. Some names you don't know. I am guaranteeing that. Click on that. And then, for example, rose, thorn, and bud. I never heard of it. Go to preview. Don't create the template. Don't use the template. Just read that sentence or paragraph. Do that 60 times. There are 62 templates. I'm assuming you know two use cases. You will get new ideas about where to use whiteboard. Whiteboard also has Copilot. I'm not going to talk about that yet. There are maybe separate session for that. But bottom line, what I'm saying is when the meeting is over, the collaboration is not over. That collaboration can continue in the meeting. So before, during, after, everything is available, including the whiteboard, which is not dead. You can continue collaborating on it. And if there was Copilot, you will get recap as well. So bottom line, I have not sent a single mail. You have to convince this, teach this to everyone whom you do meetings with, and your life and their life is suddenly transformed. That is what I mean. Meetings without meetings without emails. So try using this no-brainer kind of best practice. So your on workload inside Outlook will go down, and you'll get more clarity and better execution. Everyone benefits. So these are the things which happen inside teams. All right, so let's move on. Now the next thing is we have different type of collaboration which needs to be talked about, which is projects. All of us have projects and we have to manage the projects. And most projects are managed by what? By creating a team first. We need a project team. Project team is typically cross functional. And then we have a project plan, which is a shared task list. And then we have a deadline. All of us are part of multiple projects. So I need to inform everyone what I did. So I may send a mail every day, 14 people in CC. Everyone else around me is also doing that in the team. And then we'll get thousands of mails. And this is a problem. Yes, even if you are using MS Project, Asana, whatever, still there is some mail coming. Why is that mail coming? Because no, no, I'm just that was not for you, that was for the camera. So this is flooding of email about this, about the project, that about the project, like that. This is just one project. And then there are multiple projects, and then there is regular mail. So this chaos is called teamwork today, worldwide. Doesn't matter which platform you use, how much you have spent on IT, how good you are at your business. So we need to change that. What is the problem? There's no problem with inbox, no problem with projects. We get one inbox and multiple projects. One thing should not be used to manage multiple things. No brainer. So what do we use? We need multiple things to manage multiple things which are not mixed up. And that is Teams, of course. But what in Teams? No, not chat. Chat is for short term coordination. Projects are long term and structured work. Chat is for unstructured work. So, short term coordination with a random team with no common objective, then chat. But if it is long term, then go to Teams, create teams. Probably you already know that. But it's important to know when to create teams. Yes, the obvious use case is projects, means formal projects like this, but that's not the only use case. The generic pattern for creating teams is this. Whenever same group of people are working on a long-term basis and they are doing something in a common objective. Same people, more than 15 days, something to be done. Now, whatever that something is, today there will be discussion, files, tasks, meetings. Where is all that happening? Meeting happening in Teams, but everything around that happening in email. So we are back to square one. This is not a project. So these are the places where you should retrofit Teams. These are not formal projects. I'm not going to talk about each one of them. It's self-explanatory. But bottom line is projects means teams, and any other similar pattern also means teams. Once you get that clearly, life is good. So that's how we manage the collaboration part well. So with that, I'm going to look at the other aspects. If there are people in their company who have physical walkie-talkie, please show them Teams walkie-talkie. The amazing tool created by Microsoft works beautifully. It of course works on mobile bandwidth, so it doesn't have any radius limit. So just to show you what happens, like a walkie-talkie, you will get a button by default not on, enable an admin. So I connect to a channel. Everyone decides we are going to use this channel as walkie-talkie. So everyone connects to the channel. This is one, this is two, whatever limit. And then
आलू दे दीजिए, प्याज दे दीजिए, पनीर दे दीजिए.
so everyone connects. So like walkie-talkie, you are connected to the network, but nothing is audible. So it's like a pre-connected conference call. No audio will come. Whenever someone wants to talk, press the button and talk. Everyone will hear it. Simple walkie-talkie. So use it when required. Commonly not known. Viva Engage is for employee collaboration. We know that earlier called Yammer. Some of you must have used it. This also has a use case because whatever collaboration we talked about was between identified set of people. I am chatting with someone known. I am sending a mail. I am having a meeting. I am a project team member. But sometimes you want to do collaboration where you don't know the names of people. I want open collaboration. That is the place where we use Yammer, or now called Engage. So I'm not going to go into individual use case, but that's the idea. Many people think, no, we will not use Yammer. That's not the way. Each product has a purpose. You have to understand the purpose and then map it to your needs. That's called adoption. So that is about this. Power BI, we will not go into in detail, but all I will tell you is please do not think of Power BI as a competitor or a choice we have to make between Excel and Power BI. Use both. Power BI free is very capable. You don't need a license. Yes, you will not be able to share as a web connection, but what happens? You can use the free version, put the file on OneDrive and share it. There is no cost for that. And let other person also install desktop. Yes, they can edit your data and security is not there, but all the benefits of interactivity and other features of Copilot, which are not available in Excel, you can benefit from. They are not competitors, they are adjuncts. Each one has a strength. Use the same data to do something in Excel and the same data, something not possible in Excel, but useful for business in Power BI. In either case, there is an AI feature which you should know because most people are doing data analytics. When do you know data analysis is finished? I have this raw data. How do I know my data analysis is finished now? The idea is simple. Someone is asking me for report, one, two, three, whatever number of reports. They ask for five, I deliver five, analysis is finished. That is not the case at all. Did the data tell you there are five useful things in me? No, you stopped at five because someone has stopped asking at five. That's misuse of data, underuse of data. So what is analytics? Analytics is learn something useful from the past data and use that knowledge to try and improve the future. But how many things you want to learn? Why should you stop at two, four, whatever the number is? We should be greedy. We should want all possible. And how do you do that? That's already implemented in Excel and Power BI. So let me just show you that and then we'll summarize and finish. So this is raw data. Maybe you finished all the reports. Click on the Analyze Data button, not Copilot. Analyze Data button. It's really good. It will not ask you which reports you want. It will give you the reports and just eyeball them. Some of them may be known, ignore them. Some of them may not be known. Use them to your advantage. Nobody has asked you for this report, but now you know whatever our products are, older people are not buying. You find that thing, you suggest an idea, then you are going to get the credit. So whatever time we are saving, saving of time is good, but that itself is not efficiency. If you become too efficient, then people will give you more work, or people will think this person doesn't have any work or retrench them. No, it's very scary to be efficient because you need to know what to do with the time you saved. So analyze data beyond what you're doing is where you use the time. And of course, it has a Q&A option as well. So instead of saying, I'll get back to you in a meeting, use this option. Same options available in Power BI desktop for free. I would suggest use that because it handles larger data model and its Q&A is better. So that is all I'm going to talk about. There are other tools which I have not covered, but probably those will be covered in the other sessions. Only one thing, Power Automate is the glue which binds all of them together. So even as a user, please explore Power Automate. Many manual activities which are repetitive. This can simplify your life and then you can use that time for something else. So I'm going to stop talking. Maybe I have 2 minutes. I'll take a couple of questions and then rest of the questions I'll answer on chat. And of course, all of you know